Hey guys, how's this for a treat? 54 Corvette, and you can hear that or not, it is not a 6-cylinder. It's supposed to be a 6-cylinder. The V8s didn't come out until 55, but someone's upgraded this and put a 350 in it. So it's just a gorgeous looking little car. Super simple, super light, nothing complicated in it, no power, anything. Doesn't even have windows. Well, side windows. But it's, it's pretty much, apart from the engine, it's pretty much all original. It's got the cocoa wide whites on it. Yeah, it's a neat old girl. So yeah, she's just in for a few little bugs that it's got. Like the tach's not working, and what else is not, with temperature gauge not working quite right. Yeah, but this is a gorgeous old car. Even this sort of thing, the mesh over the headlights, I mean, it's spectacular. And just having it parked outside the shop, the number of people stopping and looking and saying, "Oh man, that's gorgeous," and asking, "Is it for sale?" The answer is no, it's not for sale. But yeah, this is very, very nice. So a little history on these things. They came out in 53. They were designed for the 6-cylinder engine. They did quite well. They went into 54. They were expecting to make about 10,000 of them for the 54 model, for the full year. Sales weren't quite there. They ended up making about just a bit over 3,600 of them. Of the 3,600 they made, they were left holding a lot of them, and they had to be heavily discounted to get rid of them. At the end of the model year, they were just stuck with the 54s. I'm guessing that, and some of the historians might be able to, confirm this, but people most likely knew there was a V8 coming, and who would want this in a 6-cylinder car when you had a V8 coming? Okay, it was only a little 265, but it was making a lot more horsepower than the 6-cylinder was. So they eventually sold them in 55. Yeah, they went to the V8. They made 6, believe it or not, 55s with a 6-cylinder engine. They're probably quite rare, I imagine, if there's any still left. This particular car, believe it or not, is worth more if it had the 6-cylinder in it, the original one. The fact that it was, in the day, it would have been a great upgrade, to go to the small block. But today, they're worth more with the original 6-cylinders in them. People want what they can't have, and so many of these were converted to V8 because it was just the logical thing to do. And yeah, just a step backwards there, one of the problems they had with selling these is they were quite expensive for a 6-cylinder. They were up there in the price of the V8 Cadillacs. Because it was a small number, a lot of hand fabricating in this, all the fiberglass was hand laid, so they were labor intensive to build, so they were quite expensive. So people were going, do I get a 6-cylinder Corvette or do I get a V8 Cadillac? And seems like the V8 Cadillac kind of got the vote. But I think probably people were, as I said, expecting them to go V8. So yeah, this is one I'd like parked in my garage. I really would. There's actually room in it, like I fit in it. Like the T-Bird, the 55 T-Bird, they're way more cramped than this. Now I'm a Ford guy, that's okay, but I have to put my hand up and say, hey, this is a more ergonomic, like for me, vehicle to get in and out of, to drive. It's nicer than a T-Bird. Not talking about the looks, I really do like the early T-Bird looks. This is nice too. So, but this is just better to drive, at least across the car park. So anyway, let's get it inside. We'll have a look in the engine bay, we'll get it on the rack, we'll have a look underneath, see what made it tick back in the day, and then we'll go for a test drive. Right, let's check out the engine bay on this little gem. Yeah, the original 6-cylinder is long gone, and it's had a 350 installed in it. No idea on what year or era the 350 is from, but it's quite a nice installation. They've used the original front mount, engine mount bracket system that these Corvettes had, because when they first came out with a V8, which wasn't until 55, you know, all those 55s were front mounted like that, not side mounted underneath. So it does look quite correct, you know, and it's got the generator with the tack, the cable driven tack off the back of the generator. So it's quite a nice conversion, but it is a conversion. Quite a lot of room in the engine bay on these, which kind of surprised me. The later Corvettes were a lot tighter, but I'm guessing really the fact that they were originally a 6-cylinder car is why, you know, there's a reasonable amount of room for it, because, you know, it was designed for an engine 2 cylinders longer. But yeah, this thing should go pretty well with a 350 in it. The original 6-cylinder was only 150 horse, and you know, this is probably, you know, depending which 350 it is, probably around 250, something like that, give or take. It certainly sounds stock. But yeah, it's pretty clean in here, really. There's not too much to fault. It's got a fuel filter here that could do with a little bit of work. We kind of got a kink in the hose over here, which is probably restricting it up top, because that's on the suction side. So I'd probably want to fix that if it was mine. But yeah, it's pretty nice. But yeah, let's check out this interior too. The interior is in awesome shape, and I don't know a lot about the history on this car, but if it hasn't had the interior redone, it's in exceptional condition. But given it was designed in 53, it's kind of out there. Like it's some nice cutting edge things. I mean, you know, one of the complaints about them was you have to, you know, there's no outside door handles, you have to reach in. There's no side windows, they just have a plastic curtain that kind of clips in. You got a hole here and a hole there, and it kind of stabs in there. And the tops were notorious for leaking. But it's not really a car you take out in the rain. I mean, it's got wipers and all that, but these were a summer cruising car, truly a sports car. But the fit and finish for the year, the way all this stuff runs together is actually pretty nice. Okay, so that pops up. I mean, this is the first time for me that I've ever even delved into one of these, so yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's a little bit of a process to get that up, but I'm not gonna mess with it too much. I don't want to get stuck with it open, you know, like that. So yeah, but who would really want to drive one of these with the top up? Really, it's all about having the top down. They've even got a trunk. A lot of Corvettes didn't have a trunk on them. Now, how do you get into it? It's another question. There we go, little button down here, which is locked. Okay, so I'm afraid the trunk's going to remain a mystery because we don't have a key for it. The owner's lost the key, and fortunately back in the mid-50s, you don't need a key. If it's in the off position, you can just crank it and it starts. If you have the key and you turn it all the way to the left, anti-clockwise, you can actually lock it, take the key out, and you can't then turn the switch. But as it sits right now, you can kind of see there's no key, and you just, that's all you need. You've got a little bit you can grip onto there, and that's all you need. All right, well, we're going to get this up on the rack now, so back in a second. Okay, man, when you look it up from this angle, you can really see the extent of the kind of jet age era kind of styling that it had. Same with the tail lights, you know, looking like a little rocket coming out the back of it, even with the little fins on it. Got your exhaust tips. Now here's a little nonsense piece of information. The 53s had quite a bit shorter exhaust pipe coming out of here. The little chrome was quite short, but they were getting a lot of fumes rolling back over and kind of smogging up the paint, you know, like carboning up the paintwork. So they added a couple of inches to the exhaust, how far it came out in 54. So useless bit of information, but there you go. Right, getting under the car, it's like walking under a 54 Chevy, truth be told. Obviously there's some differences, but there's a lot of similarities. This is a little bit different. These straps, that limits the amount of droop on the suspension. You know, it was an attempt at a handling improvement. Not sure how effective it was, but that's what they did. Yeah, someone's added seat belts to it. It's pretty clean under here, really. It's not, you know, it's not a concourse restored car. It's just a good old survivor. There's, you know, there's little, yeah, it's had a few little repairs in the fiberglass, you can see here and there. It's probably had a few little things bump into it over the years. But it's, I mean, all along here is as it should be. You can see all the original factory rivets. These are blind rivets, not pot rivets. So yeah, they were kind of riveted and bonded, a lot of the floor, all that rivets and bonded, gluing. Moving forward, yeah, 54, you know, 53, 4 Chevy front suspension. That's just like looking at one of those. You know, the kingpin front suspension, no ball joints. But I tell you what, I wouldn't be in a hurry to change it because it rode really nice. Rides really nice. Interesting steering box. You kind of got a steering with a pitman arm coming down here that goes front to back. Goes across to this, which is a big pivot, and then that forward back movement then translates into a side to side movement. So it's like a lot of joints, a lot of ball joints, and to, you know, to add to that vagueness. That was an unusual way of doing it. Here, just up here, you can see where the original 6-cylinder engine mounts were. They've just been gas cut off. Would have been nice if they'd cleaned those up a little more, but you can't see it unless you stood under it like we're doing. This side, it's something I think we're going to have to address. It's yeah, again, the mounts have been cut off there, but there's quite a hole in the chassis here that's, I have no idea why that's there or how it got there, but there's a hole kind of ripped in it a little bit there. But yeah, this is, yeah, no horror stories under here. You know, some oil leaks, well, you know, surprise, surprise. You got to expect that. A few cobwebs, got to expect that too. But yeah, all this is these bars here, you know, are what support this front bumper. That's actually pretty solid. Again, the little underriders coming down here, just like on the back. It really is a, yeah, you can see how America was fascinated with the jet age in the 50s. Absolutely fascinated. So this is very cool. Yeah. Well, really not a lot to see under here. There's no, oh, this is rusty, and oh, there's a hole here, and oh, there's a patch there. It's none of that. It's like, this is what you would expect it to look like. Well, I think it's time to go for a test drive. What do you think, Stu?
I think let's go.
Let's go. Right, let's get this baby down and come check out a bit of Franklin, Tennessee countryside. Okay, come on Steve, let's go. Now, I don't think we mentioned the transmission, but it's a power glide. It's a good old 2-speed power glide. Probably cast iron being this. Well, it depends what, yeah, whether the power glide's a 54 power glide or whether it's a 70s 350 power glide. Don't know. Oh man, that's not bad, is it? Oh, look at what we got coming. 56 Thunderbird just went by the other way. That's kind of cool. Friday afternoon in Tennessee, Franklin. Man, this thing drives nice. You would not think this was a 70-year-old car. Now, I'm only just going slow in a straight line, but you pretty quickly get a feel for how a car drives. Yeah, it's a little vague in the steering. We just kind of get used to that though, I think. But the sun's out. It's got the Mopar style dash mounted rear vision mirror that I can't see a thing out of. But that's alright. What they say in the Gumball Rally, Steve? What's behind me is no concern. Something like that, wouldn't it?
And it runs good.
It does. Like. It's really benefiting from that 350. That has kind of modern day performance, really. Not sure what the brakes are like. We're about to find out. Oh yeah, they're there. That's not bad. No, the brakes are quite adequate, really. Steering's a bit heavier than old Marge now, but that's alright. Got a nice little V8 burble going on there. I'm not sure whether you can hear that or not. It's not too loud. We've done a nice exhaust on it. That's pretty good throttle response. But they don't weigh much. They're pretty comfortably under 3,000 pounds. I think they're probably, I'm guessing you'll have to Google it, but they're probably, I don't know, 2,600 pounds or something. They're, I've had my head up under the dash and there's kind of nothing up there, man. Just nothing. It's very simple fiberglass car. Like other Corvette, later model Corvettes I've been in, you kind of want to drive them fast. And this one is definitely a cruiser. The vibe it gives me anyway. It's like, I don't really need to be in a hurry to go anywhere. I'm just, if it takes an extra 10 minutes to get there, that's just 10 minutes more fun we've had. But if you want to go a bit quick, this thing's definitely got the goods. I mean, it's not a demon bloody Mopar or anything like that, don't get me wrong, it's not wildly fast, but it's you'd have no trouble pulling out to pass on the interstate at all. Nice bit of induction noise. Yeah, Chevrolet should have put a 350 in it back in 54. That's pretty quiet now. Like off the gas, it's really quiet. It's nice. It's not rattling and clunking and squeaking. It's just nice. Would even chirp the tyres slightly into second gear then. Well, I can certainly think of worse things to be doing on a Friday afternoon. Yeah, well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed it, like making the video. This is just a lovely, sweet old car, and I would have one in a heartbeat, even though I'm a Ford guy. This is just awesome. All right, well, we got a few little things to get done to it, but that'll be a next week project, and we're just going to tucker away for the weekend, and we'll dig in and get a few of these things straightened out, little bugs, and we'll be golden. All right, you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the next one.